Welcome to Breamore Church. Come to see the Hawfinch. So I usually find that I'm waffling a bit much at the beginning of a video without getting to the birds. I've been watching my videos back and thinking, yeah, talk. Get to the birds. So I'm going to overlay some bird footage while I waffle on. Okay, so here's some Hawfinch. I'm doing this back to front, a bit Quentin Tarantino-like. Can you hear the long-tailed tits? So, yeah, the Hawfinch. And there's lots of birds keep distracting me and making me not concentrate on this video. Apologies. I hope you enjoy the footage I'm putting over the top of this. So I'm trying to get I haven't even locked my cab yet. So just enjoy the footage while I try and get my act together. Car keys. That's it, locked. So where shall we start? Yeah, so I haven't been out for a couple of days. This is the 27th of December. And I went out maybe for about an hour walk, but it was too dark and there was nothing much going on. Came down to Southampton for my wife and family down this side. We'll see my lot later. And today's the first day I got to come out. So I looked up the Bird Guides app to see what was going down locally. And I saw some Hawfinch within about half an hour drive. The last one I saw was in Morocco. And the only ones before that were in the churchyard up in Hertfordshire about 3 years ago. And famously, they were there for what seemed like a month or so. So there were two locations. There was one called Telegraph Hill, which wasn't showing up on Google Maps or anything else. So what it said on the Bird Guides app was Telegraph Hill. So all I did was just open up the map view and zoom in to where somebody had put the coordinates. And then the Breamore Hawfinch were past that, about 10 minutes drive. So I thought, well, that's good. And they've been reported for 2 days. So I'm going to risk it. First, we'll go to Telegraph Hill. I don't know what is there, but when we got there, you're just basically in the New Forest and the gorgeous open New Forest area with all the ponies. And even though it's quite grey and drizzly, and this is it's what you want to see in the winter, isn't it? From the New Forest, this British countryside in the winter. It's gorgeous. It doesn't seem right somehow when it's sunny and blue, but still beautiful, obviously. So first of all I could do was get out, park the cab up, park in this car park, and I didn't know what I was looking for. They just put Hawfinch Telegraph Hill. So okay, I just sort of found the closest spot to the coordinates and started walking around looking for anything that moved. And there were lots of blackbird, magpies, and then started hearing the call of the redwing all the way out here. So there was a flock of redwing, and I was checking each one, see if there were any fieldfare in there, the usual stuff. Robins, ponies. I took video to overlay of all these lovely little cottages and the ponies. I tried to get this common buzzard that was on a tree. I waited for all the cars to pass me. You do that, I don't know if you do this, if you're a fellow birder and you do it in your car, you find a little parking space to pull out the way to let everything pass you. Look back and make sure right in the distance no other vehicles are coming, so that if you do have to stop and put your camera out the window, don't do it in a busy area. Obviously in the middle of the New Forest, I'm sure it's fine. So I did that for the buzzard, but they're okay with cars driving past, but they're not okay with cars stopping, as has always been my experience. So all I got it was taking off, and then from a distance it was sat under a tree. I'm experimenting with this new setting I've found on the camera that I saw online, and what is that? It's called 4K crop, and I don't know the exact technical details, but it's something to do with upscaling and then down sampling so that you get a bigger crop, meaning you're zoomed in more, but you're still getting 4K, but the quality is slightly lower. I mean, if it's a bright sunny day, you probably won't see the difference, but in lower light conditions, it will be more grainy. And what I found when you're zoomed right out, particularly in this mode, you do have to go up to 120 frames a second because the image stabilizer is kicking about so much that you need a higher frame rate to keep it smoother. So it's all experimentation. And I've been using that for the Hawfinch today, and just in time, because they've been quite far and it has been really good at cropping right in to see them. So we're jumping around a bit. So look how we do this. So yeah, the buzzard, and okay, let's do this first. We stopped at this little village called Wood Green, strange enough, all one word, because I saw some birds fly across the road, some small birds. So I pulled into a car parking space here on the left and stood outside and pointed my camera up at the tree above the car, the cab, still call it a car, and straight away greenfinch, lots of greenfinch. Usually you see more females than males. I don't know what the reason for that is. And yeah, they were going back and forth between this house, which must have had some incredible feeders because of the stuff that I saw. I wasn't expecting this, to the point where I was like looking at my watch going, I'm supposed to be going to see these Hawfinch, which are sort of only a mile away. You should do this on the way back and make sure you've given the Hawfinch enough time. But these greenfinch were then met up by loads of chaffinch, and this time almost more males than females. So there was red everywhere. And I filmed them at every angle. What I try to do is get some video first of whatever angle there is and gradually improve. And the best footage I keep, and then I can delete the rest. And it looks like I'm a better photographer than I actually am, or videographer. And the thing is, what happened, I was checking out all the red of these male chaffinch. And then this I better not say the F word, not that F word, the 3-letter F word that could get you cancelled. I will say chunky, a chunkier bird, red bird landed. And before my eyes had even focused, I knew it was going to be a bullfinch. And my heart was racing, and I couldn't get that reflex to do the manual focus properly, and I was pressing the wrong button. I got a few seconds, usable seconds, because it kept sitting on twigs behind a branch, but I got it, and I'm super stoked about that. If I get the Hawfinch, that'd be great, because I'd have bullfinch as well. Incredible. And I thought, I'm going to hang around here and see if it comes back and forth between the feeders. It didn't, but I did get the female in a further tree off in the distance, more grey than the male. The male's red and the female's grey. I don't know if you know your bullfinch, but if you don't, usually the males are, they're like, the birds of paradise they have to be a bit more showy. I think somebody said that the reason for that is females have to be plainer, because when they're on the nest, you don't want raptors being able to spot them easier. So the males have to be more showy and maybe distract predators. Anyway, we're going off on tangents here. I only got a marsh tit as a lifer the other day at Bow Beach, and I got another one here. So yeah, they were on the feeders taking they seem to, I think there's sunflower seeds, but and also lots here as well in the churchyard. What are they called? Coal tits, calling all the time. This is the place for coal tits, loads of them. So I had to do a bit of the old manual focus game to keep an eye on them through the branches. They were moving like crazy. And yeah, blue tits, great tits. Anything else in there? Oh yeah, long-tailed tits. I got some really good, exceptionally good long-tailed tits here. I kept being caught out by things. So there was a nuthatch that was calling, and it was distracting me. And I kept thinking, right, let's get some footage of this bird. Let's get some footage of that bird. And I'm like, you're here for the Hawfinch, you can get these things any other day. But these long-tailed tits, I think it's drizzling now, I better get under the tree. The long-tailed tits really showed well with usually if they're up in the tree and the white out background means the footage doesn't look great. And these had some green in the distance, they were low down. So they were hanging upside down feeding, and I just had to film it. It's brilliant for my little file database of bird footage that I can use for whatever reason in the future. And I'm sure I heard goldcrest as well, and I kept going, no, wait, because you're only here for about another hour. and you need these Hawfinch. Anything else went. So let's go Hawfinch though. So the first thing is, it's always difficult with the countryside and signposts because you don't know what you are and aren't allowed to do with certain areas. It says no parking, and then no parking except church guests. But this isn't a Sunday. There isn't anybody else. I don't see any car parks in this area. It says use the main car park instead of parking here. I didn't see any car park. I even spoke to a dog walker and I said, where's the main car park? And they said, so I don't know. I'm just giving you what I'm seeing from this point of view, from the church, the front of the churchyard and the church and the little driveway for it. And this is Christmas. They might be a bit easier going with people stopping in the area. So I've parked here in this area. You're going to have to decide if you come, if the Hawfinch is still here in a week or two inside the new year, then you're going to come here yourself and have a look. But I've had loads of dog walkers here smiling. How are you? I'm always waiting for the, what are you doing here? Or, you know, you shouldn't be parked there or anything, but no, it's quite chill. So I just had to set my camera up there because there was another Hawfinch in that tree up there. So when you come in here, if you do come here, the Hawfinch seem to stop in three different trees. Three different trees. A tree at the back of the church on the left as you walk up towards the front door. The one just outside the main entrance to the right of this big tree, this thick tree on the left. They seem to prefer that one, 2 or 3 of them on there at any one time I've seen. And this one on the, as you come up the path to the church on the right side, anything that's bare, they don't seem to land on these trees that have got a lot of greenery on them. They seem to land on the open ones. So maybe it gives them a better vantage point, I don't know, but more helpful to photographers, obviously. And you can see I've got a few presents for Christmas, camo stuff. I've got the little camo pouch with 2 zips and some other little pockets in there for storing phones and torches and stuff. And yeah, also this one will be for scopes, and I've obviously my old one, my flask cup of tea, and yeah, and then the camo hat. And I asked for some, it's been a while, I need some gloves, touchscreen gloves, and these are brilliant because they're really thin, which means I can operate the camera really well. I'm probably now thinking about it, I should have gone camo, full camo, but then I don't want to go too nerdy yet. Come back to me in 5 years and I'll be dressed like one of those snipers with the full webbing and nets and branches and bits of things I've pulled off of trees and stuff down my hiding away for sort of like 5 hours waiting for one bird to appear for that perfect shot. So basically, after having no luck at the Telegraph Hill, the little car park in the New Forest, the next up was this Breamore churchyard. Now when I looked online, it showed 2 churches. It didn't say which churchyard, so I just picked this one, the Breamore church, and it seemed to be the correct one. It was a bit needle in a haystack when I first arrived, but I walked in and there was a little dark dot on the top of that tree, and I checked it and I could see straight away the big beak. Bosh, so they are here. I don't have to worry about the other church. And I've been here for about 2.5 hours moving around, and I've got some decent stuff considering the weather. I've been using the, like I said, the new crop, the 4K crop, to get as close as possible. And what I did is I handheld all the first sort of half an hour footage to make sure that the bird, if it did fly off, at least I proved I've got it. And once I noticed that they did sit for quite a long time and I'd got a bit of handheld footage, I risked putting the tripod up, which can take about a minute to fiddle around with the legs and the image stabilizer, 800 millimeters with the crop factor going up to like 1.8 times and the image stabilizer shaking all over the place. I did get some decently usable footage, which I'm very happy about. And I think it's close to me having to leave soon because we've got to go back and see some family before I go back to work. But round and round, trying to think of anything else. So yeah, coal tits, marsh tits, chaffinch, greenfinch, bullfinch. Yes, so my first bullfinch in probably 2 or 3 years, and its footage. My first Hawfinch, I got 2 photos of one in Morocco last January, I think it was, January in 2023. And before that, I'd only ever seen them in Hertfordshire, like I said. So first ever footage of Hawfinch, first ever footage of Bullfinch. But just, yeah, I'll just show you some beautiful countryside down here. I did some filming out the cab window, which is safe to do and there's nobody else around and you're in the middle of the New Forest. But just all the lovely thatched cottages and rivers and bridges, and yeah, just look at this. It's stunning. I need to get down here during the year to see the changes and do some more filming. I mean, you've got most of the birds from where I am in Kent down here, but you'll get the odd random one, like the coal tits are more likely, the marsh tits, siskins, maybe red poles, and yeah, the only times I've ever seen bullfinch have been down here, even though some of the Kent birders have their special spots that they keep secret squirrel and don't let anybody else know, which is fair enough, fair enough. we've all got those little secret squirrel areas where we don't tell anybody about. I had the big one, didn't I, in the summer of the hobbies. So I think that's it. If you manage to get down here, I'll try and get this up in a day or two. Good luck trying to find the Hawfinch, and I had a good time. I caught them. Happy days.